because it's going to be, the campaign is going to start picking up, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
we have to. ¿Qué tal, amigos de Minnesota Latin Radio? Bienvenidos a Entérate Minnesota. Hoy me encuentro con una más de las candidatas para gobernador de Minnesota, Christy Robbins. Hello, Christy Robbins. How are you?
Hi, nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so grateful that you make the time. I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate it that you make the time to come to our show. We have a lot of Hispanic community who follow us, and they like to know who are the candidates for governor of Minnesota.
Absolutely.
So please tell us a little bit about you, about your background. Who is Christy Robbins?
Of course. So originally I'm from Crookston, so Northwest Minnesota, a small town, really most known for University of Minnesota Crookston and sugar beet farming.
Oh,
But my dad was not in agriculture. He actually owned the funeral home there.
oh,
And so a small business family. And growing up, my parents moved to Upper Michigan and another funeral home in another small town. And I came back here for college. I went to Bethel College in St. Paul, and then met my husband, and we both did our graduate work, and we've been married 32 years, and we have 3 adult daughters, which is so fun.
So cool.
Yep. And then all those years I was, a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, just, juggling sports and homework and dinner and laundry and all the things like every other family. And when my youngest was in first grade, I helped found this group called the Economic Club of Minnesota, which focuses on Minnesota's competitiveness. And that's still an area I really work hard on in the legislature, because our tax policy and our regulatory policy really hurts small businesses and
Right.
ability to start businesses. And it's kind of incentivizing people to leave the state instead of coming.
Right.
So we need to fix that. And then I just volunteered for a lot of campaigns, like,
Really?
like how I met you, just volunteering in different races. And my legislator stepped down really suddenly. And so there was an opening, and people were like, well, you volunteered, do you know what to do? So
you have experience in
so
the
I
job.
ran, and I've been in the Minnesota House for 4 terms.
Wow.
And currently I'm chair of the fraud committee, which is the most time where I do most of my work working on stopping the fraud. But before that, I did a lot of work on tax and higher education, those kind of issues.
Wow, but the fraud, what is making famous Minnesota right now?
Sadly, yes.
It's like, again, the George Floyd was the start now with the fraud, like never for a good reason. But tell us a little bit about the fraud.
Yeah, so right now, we've uncovered as a committee, and then working with our federal law enforcement partners, what we expect to be more than $1 billion in fraud. And it's just terrible. Our tax dollars have been stolen by criminals who have used it to buy a resort in Kenya, an apartment in Nairobi, a culinary school in Ohio.
Mhm.
If people know the Gale Mansion down on Park Avenue in Minneapolis,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
millions of $2 million homes in Plymouth, and jewelry and cars. And Minnesotans work hard for their money, and they are so frustrated to see their money absconded that way. But also then Minnesotans who need services not getting services.
And the people who really need
Yeah.
it, not getting them.
So it's terrible. So even though we're not in session, I've kept the fraud committee meeting every month, because we don't really have a handle on the scope of the fraud yet. So we're trying to look at all these programs, highlight the fraud, expose the fraud. And then when we don't, as legislative, have access to bank records or health records. So once we get an investigation so far, then we turn it over to our friends at the U.S. Attorney's Office or the FBI or other law enforcement groups that can then take it to the next step and prosecute.
Wow. I hope they can go as far as we need to do anything possible to bring the people who is responsible of this.
Right. And that's
to
been the problem.
justice.
There's been no accountability.
It's no accountability. It's like ridiculous how corrupted our government
Right.
in Minnesota is. I
And
don't think people
No,
realized
we don't want to believe it about ourselves, right? We want clean government. We thought we had clean government. So this has really been a huge cultural blow to us as Minnesotans,
Yes.
but we have to clean it up. We have to stop it. We have to have accountability. And then that's why I'm running for governor, because we need a whole new administration.
Well, clean house.
We need, clean house in all the agencies, new commissioners, new assistant and deputy commissioners, and then a culture. So much of it is the culture has been turning a blind eye, and we have to have a no fraud, no excuses culture. And if people are not dealing with it or participating in it, they need to be fired. Nobody,
Absolutely.
Tim Walz has not fired anyone yet.
It's crazy. So actually, that's my next question for you. Like, what inspired you to run? Is just to see all this craziness and all this corruption going on, or besides that, is another reason you say, "Oh, I want to run for governor."
I mean, a lot of what made it be a priority this cycle is the level of corruption, because I, as a legislator, can only do so much because we have
Correct.
separation of powers. And so, until we get control of the governor's office and control of all these agencies and really clean house, we're not going to stop the fraud. So that really is, I would say, what tipped me into it. But all along, I've been very concerned about, the fiscal mismanagement under Tim Walz. We had an $18 billion surplus. He raised taxes $11 billion and then still left us with a $6 billion deficit. And hardworking Minnesotans, we cannot afford this.
You can.
We need to have growth, reduce the growth of government and have it manageable. And he's failed on both fronts.
Yeah, it's hard to defend his record, honestly. After all the fraud, high taxes, education declining, high crime, it's like, well, how you defend that record?
Right.
It's almost impossible.
Well, exactly. When my husband and I came here, we chose to come to Minnesota because my husband's from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And we were deciding where are we going to live and start our family. And Minnesota had great schools, safe communities. And if you worked hard, you had a great opportunity to succeed. And sadly, that's not true anymore. Our schools are not doing well under Tim Walz. Crime is increasing. We've had these huge deficits and tax increases and the fraud. So I'm going to run for governor and get us back on track, because Minnesota is a great place. We have great people,
That's
and we just
beautiful.
need to give them the opportunity to prosper.
So, what would you say it makes you different? We have several Republican candidates,
Yes.
I think a dozen or probably
Yes.
more. What do you think will be your biggest strength?
Yeah, so I think the biggest strength is that I'm able to win statewide. So we have lost suburban Minnesotans from the Republican Party for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And I live in a purple district, a suburban district. I represent Western Maple Grove and Western Hennepin County. And President Trump won my district by 0.4%, but I won by 14 points.
Oh, wow.
And so we need someone who's going to, I'm a suburban mom. We need to get the suburban moms and dads back in our corner, and I can deliver that. And I've always outperformed the other candidates who are already in the race when I've been on the ballot with them. And also, just because of my expertise on the fraud and the tax and regulatory issues, I feel like I'll be able to hit the ground running and really make a difference for Minnesotans right away.
That's amazing. It's very impressive. Let me tell you that. So, what would you say? A lot of, as you know, many minorities are tend more to go to the Democratic Party because, social services or whatever reason. And basically, they are great and fantastic to manipulate a lot of the message, right? How you will reach those communities?
Yeah, it's by being in the communities, right? And talking to you, talking to other people in the community, doing media that speaks to the community more directly, and just showing up at events and showing people I care about them. And that, I think most of the people in the minority communities they want that. We all want the same things, right?
We do.
We all want the same things. We want good safe communities, good schools, opportunity to succeed if you work hard. And that was the Minnesota brand promise. And that's what's broken. But we all together can fix it. And it's going to take all of us. But, everyone I know in different minority communities, they're entrepreneurial, they're hardworking. They just want to be able to work hard and succeed. And that right now is almost impossible with the taxes, the regulatory burdens on businesses. It's so hard right now. But it doesn't have to be that way, so we can turn it around.
Yes. And what will be your priorities? Because like you said, Minnesota is like, I don't even know where to turn around anymore. You look here as the fraud, you look here as the crime, you look here as the... it's like, okay, where we start to fix this? What will be your priorities?
Oh, yeah. So we can start right away on stopping the fraud. Like I said, all new commissioners, controlling all these agencies, changing the culture. We will get a handle on fraud quickly. And then going forward, we need to have tax cuts. So families work so hard, but they keep less and less of their money.
Yeah.
And so I rolled out a plan a couple of weeks ago that will cut income taxes, property taxes, decouple the gas tax from inflation, which was, a mistake. The license tab fees that went up, we'll fix that. And then when people have more money, then they'll invest, and that will help grow the economy. And as the economy grows, that's how we'll have more opportunity to invest in the infrastructure and the priorities of the state. But first, we have to get economic growth going, and that's been the missing piece.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a lot of conflicts right now because I don't think the main media is serving justice to
No.
people. They give a different message. They minimize the fraud. They minimize
Yes.
the problems that Minnesota have. Um, is why I think one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I want people to know. And I mean, people know because they
Right.
live it.
They live it every
They live
day.
it every day. They go to Minneapolis. They get assaulted. They break the car. They go to pay groceries. They pay the taxes. As, I don't know, 6% more this year, probably
Right.
10. I don't
Yes.
know. So, what would you message to Minnesota? A message of hope for them.
Yes, it's absolutely hopeful. These are policy choices that we have made that have hurt our state, but we can make different choices. We can have a low tax, high growth state. We can have safe communities again by supporting law enforcement and increasing penalties for violent and repeat offenders. We've been working on that in the legislature, and I've had multiple bills on that. And we can also make sure that we're focused on education achievement.
That's
One of the things I know about minority communities is they want their kids to have great education. And honestly, under Tim Walz, 50% of our kids can't read at grade level, 55% don't do math at grade level, 60% do not do science at grade level. And that's averages. In minority communities, it's higher. And
yes.
that's criminal. We are hurting our kids' future by not focusing on achievement. So we've got to get back to focusing on achievement, taking the handcuffs off schools so they can spend the state money the way they want. And we have to, encourage teachers to have control of their classrooms. We've had too many unfunded mandates on the schools that have hurt their budgets. Even though we gave historic state dollars to schools, they're worse off because of all the mandates. So there's a lot we can do on education. And so education, safe communities, reducing taxes, igniting growth, and Minnesota will prosper and will be safe, and we'll be a magnet for people to want to come again.
That would be amazing. We used to have a beautiful Minnesota, I will say 10 years ago, probably more. But, it's something that make it special, even if the weather is so extreme in the winter.
Yeah.
You say, well, we have a good opportunity for work. The schools are good. The parks are great.
Yeah.
And then we've been missing those pieces now. They've been lost because all these changes with this new, I mean, ever since Governor Walz become governor, like everything start going backwards.
Exactly.
It's sad. It's depressing.
Right. But don't be depressed because we can change it. Other states have turned it around. We can absolutely turn it around.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Is that truth? I hear that the fraud they say was projected to be it was surpassing $1 billion, but they say this project to be even $8 billion now.
Yes, I mean, to be honest, we don't have a handle on it. So the U.S. attorney, first U.S. attorney here, Joe Thompson, who I've worked with on these cases, he said he's not willing to put the upper limit on it yet. He said it's definitely billions, plural, and we don't know yet whether it'll be 2, 4, 8. It's just, we still have so much investigating to do that we don't have a full grasp of it yet, which is so sad.
It's so sad.
I know.
So we have a full year to work very hard so we can elect people like you
Yes.
who are willing to work for the benefit of Minnesota people, not for their own benefit, but for the people.
Right.
Right?
No, for all of us. Like, this is our state. We
Yes.
need to make sure that it's a place where everyone can prosper. I was talking actually to a Latino pastor about a month ago,
Yeah.
and he said people don't want to just get by. They want to
No.
succeed.
They want to
And
thrive.
that's what we have to get people the opportunity for. Because people don't want to just, barely afford their lives. They came here because of the American dream.
Oh,
They
100%.
want to know that they can succeed and that their kids will be better off than they will. That's what we all want.
And the Hispanic population is so hardworking.
Yes.
I was meeting with the farmers, and they said we love the Hispanics because they have these work ethics. They were saying, or our work is literally 18 hours a day,
Oh my
and only
goodness.
Hispanics can willing to do that kind of job, and it's true. And I have a lot of friends who are. They have paint business, they have restaurants, they have roofing business. They are such hard workers. They contribute to the economy.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the main media manipulate a lot, with the eyes and stuff. But I think we all, like you say it, and you say it very well. We all want the same. We
Mhm.
want a community that's safe. We want good school for our kids. We want opportunities to grow financially, economically, and we want a place that we can have peace
Yeah.
and that we can get along. I don't care what color skin you are. We can just get along. Everybody mind their own business.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and we absolutely can have that again in Minnesota. I'm so bullish on Minnesota. We have great people, we have great natural resources, we have great
Absolutely.
opportunity, and we just need to have the right incentives and environment that's not so heavy-handed government. Like government is starting to crowd out all the sectors of healthcare, education, childcare, all these
Okay,
things, and we need more opportunity and innovation in the private sector, and government should
absolutely.
just be a support.
Absolutely. You have it perfectly said. Well, Christy, thank you so much. You are a very intelligent woman. Like, I have a lot of respect for you. I wish you well luck. Please come back. I
Thank
know
you.
next year is gonna be like everybody's gonna be working on their campaigns, but I know you have a lot to offer. Please come back anytime.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
so
for
much
having
for
me,
having us.
and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Have a beautiful Christmas. Thank you, everybody. There.